everybody, this is Avery from the Immortal Polar Bears channel, and today we're gonna have another Call of Duty video. And today I'm gonna completely switch what I usually talk about, which is random stuff, and actually give you some useful tips and advice if you like playing Call of Duty. This goes for basically any Call of Duty, and you know, any first-person shooter you can apply these basic principles to. And this is one of the most important things you can do in a game, and that's choosing the right class for the map and the job you want to do in the game you're playing. So there are many things you need to take into account when you're choosing a class setup, and when you're choosing what gun, what attachments, what perks, what equipment, and all that stuff. Lots of it's personal preference, but lots of it you can fine-tune, you know, based on which map you're on and what kind of role you want to play for your team. So, choosing a class, the first thing you should probably think of is what map are you on. Kind of dissect the map and figure out whether it's either a long-range map, where you're going to have long ranges of sight and long-range encounters. One of these maps would probably be like, let me think, Bakara is one. In some places, I guess you could say that like Seatown would be one. But lots of maps, it varies, so you kind of want to choose where you want to stick. So if you have a long-range map and you're going to stick to the long-range portions of a map, you're probably going to either want to use a sniper rifle. That's the obvious answer. Obviously, you have to have some sort of proficiency with the sniper to be able to use it effectively. Or an assault rifle, which is just a good overall gun for basically any range. I would probably go for an assault rifle unless you're playing defensive. But more into how to choose between the two later. Okay, so if you're going in a medium range, you can use basically any type of gun. You know, assault rifle that's more suited for close range encounters, like maybe the M4 or the G36C or the Type 95, which is surprisingly good in close range encounters, are good contenders. And then submachine guns, which have a good long range accuracy, which is basically only the MP7, are good contenders too. And if you're good at quick scoping and stuff with a sniper rifle, by all means go and use that. But unfortunately, not everybody is that good at quick scoping, such as myself. So that would probably not be a good option for me. But I can't speak for other people. So if you're good with a sniper rifle, that would definitely be a contender to use. But I would definitely probably stick to either a gun like the Type 95 or the MP7. Where in a long range for assault rifle, you'd probably want to use maybe an ACR, the MK14, and sniper rifles probably like any of the top 3 sniper rifles, which would be the MSR Barrett 50 cal and Elm 18, I think it is. Yeah. Okay, so the next range that a map could be in is short range, and you know, I'm kind of playing terminal to the short range distances in this game. You know, I'm cutting through that middle gift shop quite a bit, which gives me lots of close range encounters. See, I'm sticking away from these long ranges of sight that I don't have quick access away from. So this is the only long range of sight basically I stick to in the game. And that's like a freaking hallway of death. There's probably 9 different places people can be to shoot you from. They can be, you know, down here, back where I am, to the left in the plane, to the left in the shop, on top of the shop, or in the gift shop to your right. There's just so many places they could be. So I'm kind of, see, I picked up an RSASS, so I can snipe down here. But I'm getting off track here. So short range maps, you're probably gonna want to use a submachine gun. Now, the best submachine guns for short range are probably the MP7. It's just good for medium and short range. It's a very versatile submachine gun. The PP90, M1 or something, whatever it's called, PP90, which is what I'm using in this map. That's just a great gun, especially if you use silencer and rapid fire or extended mags and rapid fire, depending on which role you want to take up in your team. But we'll talk more about choosing attachments in a few minutes. So, yeah, that's basically it for choosing with what range you're going to be playing the game in. It's very map-based, so just kind of take a look at the map, get a general knowledge of the map before you go into the game and choose your class. And when you're in the lobby, try to construct your class, well, the weapon you're using at least, accordingly. So then the second one is a really important question you want to ask yourself, and it's whether you want to use a silencer or not. Most cases, if you're in a big map like, what are some big maps in the game? I can't think of the names of the maps right now. But if you're in a big map and you kind of want to take up a flanking or long distance shooting type deal, your chances are you're probably going to want, well, if you're flanking, you want to use a silencer. That's just a fact, so that the other team doesn't know where you're shooting from. They don't know where you killed your enemies from, so they don't know where their teammates died from, and so they can't shoot you while you're behind enemy lines, basically. But if you're going to be doing some long-range shooting across the map, you're definitely not going to want to use a silencer, because you're going to need every single one of those bullets to count for as much as it can, because you never know how much ammo you have, and you always want to get that kill when it's there for the taking. And you don't want a silencer to take down the effectiveness of your gun too much. So you definitely want to use a silencer when you are flanking, not when you are just doing straight long-range combat. Now, a small map also, instead of a big map, let's say you're on Dome or something, you're probably not going to want to use a silencer again, because chances are you're going to be in lots of head-on battles, and you're going to need all those bullets to count for as much as they can, no matter how far away you are. So what I would probably suggest using is a mixture of extended mags, well, not a mixture, either or, extended mags or rapid fire, or actually you could probably mix them together, so that would be a good idea too. Either, I would say, for the proficiency, if you're using a submachine gun, I would probably say use focus or attachments if you're going to be combining the two together. Now the only reason for that is so you can have the maximum firepower, the maximum damage in the shortest amount of time, so you can beat your enemies. That's just the that's the name of the game when you're in short maps like Dome, where you're gonna have lots of short range encounters with your enemy. Now this is really annoying. I just waited for the guy and I got impatient and I went. So here's a lesson in Call of Duty, people: always be patient, because then that happens and that's not fun to die. So anyways, another question you're going to want to ask yourself, I've already kind of covered this, but do you want to flank, do you want to rush, or do you want to just go head-on long-range combat? Now this really is up to personal preference, how good your hands are on the controller, you know, how fast you are aiming and how steady you are. If you have a really steady hand but you may not be the fastest, you probably want to do long range, but that does involve lots of patience, which I don't usually have, so I kind of do a flanking style, you know. And that's just the kind of guy I am, but it's really no formula on which to use, just whichever is your personal preference. And now another important, very important thing is perks. There are basically 3 questions you want to ask yourself in perks. It's, do you want Assassin, Quick Draw, or Hardline, Blind Eye, Sleight of Hand, or Scavenger, or Dead Silence, or Marksman? All the other perks are pretty much not useful compared to those ones. So the first one is Assassin versus Quick Draw versus Hardline. Now, if you're going to be flanking, you're definitely going to want to use Assassin. You don't want them to know where you are when they have UAV, and Assassin is especially helpful because people get especially reliant on the UAV when they have it, and they think that the entire enemy team is going to be shown, and if you're not shown on the UAV, it's basically like you don't exist. And that can be a huge advantage if you're flanking, which is like this. In this game, I'm using a mixture of Sleight of Hand, Assassin, and Marksman, which is good for just, you know, an overall setup if you're going to be flanking, and I like to have Sleight of Hand when I'm flanking because I kind of mix it with rushing. But anyway, that being said, if you're going to be rushing, you're probably going to want to use Quick Draw so you can get your sights up and be most accurate quicker than the other team. If you're going to be sitting back, kind of shooting from afar, you're probably going to want Hardline so that you can get your kill streaks quicker and just rain down terror on them, like I do with my Reapers in this game and my Pavlo that I get soon, right there. Okay, so that's basically the second perk. For the first perk slot, is basically a decision between Blind Eye, Sleight of Hand, and maybe Scavenger, depending on the type of player you are. But for argument's sake, let's say Scavenger is a likely contender, even though it's kind of outclassed by the other 2 perks. Anyways, Blind Eye, if you're going for sneak mode flank type deal, you're definitely going to want to use Blind Eye to not be killed by, you know, a sentry gun or something, or any sort of air support like a attack helicopter, which can be super annoying. Or you're going to want to use Sleight of Hand, which just is a good overall perk. You know, it's not just for rushing, it's for any basically all-purpose perk. It's really good. It will help you in every single situation. And so if you don't have a specialized purpose, you probably want to go with Sleight of Hand. And if you're going to stay back and you're going to be using lots of ammunition, maybe if you're going for a Moab, you might want to use Scavenger. Of course, you can put that in your specialist kill streaks. So Scavenger isn't as much as a contender as the rest of them, but it's still there. So those are the 3 first perk slots. I would probably use Sleight of Hand most of the time, but Blind Eye is definitely helpful when you need it. Okay, and then the last 2 perks, Dead Silence versus Marksman. Their steady aim just is not very helpful at all. Sit Rep, no, like it's helpful, but it's not a contender when you compare it to the other 2. And I can't remember the last one. I think that's it. But anyways, Dead Silence versus Marksman. I will most likely choose Marksman because it's so helpful in spotting enemies. It's insane. By the way, do you see this comeback in this game? It's pretty crazy. So if I would definitely go with Marksman most of the time, unless you're being a sneak again, and then you're probably going to want to use Dead Silence. If you have a headset, Dead Silence will definitely help because you won't be able to hear your own footsteps, and you'll really be able to home in on the enemy team's footsteps. And, you know, basically it's all up to your own personal preference. There is no way of getting a good class all the time. It's just up to personal preference. So guys, I really hope this helped. You know, if you want me to use a specific class, please just leave it in the comments and I will see if I can get a good gameplay with it. But, you know, if you stick to these rules, I'm sure that you will get some better scores and maybe you will be able to get some better gameplay. Wait. So, yeah, sorry about that. I kind of had a bit of a stroke there. But anyways, if you guys need any help, send me a message. I will definitely get to you as soon as I can. But this has been Avery for the Immortal Polar Bears. If you guys like this video, drop it a like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any content. And hey Tyler, nice face, bro.